Back to Brian's Beat.
Felix the cat, the wonderful, wonderful cat. Whenever he gets in a fix, he reaches into his bag of tricks. Felix the cat, the wonderful, wonderful cat. You laugh so much your sides will ache, your heart will go pit-a-pat. Watching Felix, the wonderful cat.
Hour 2 of Brian's Beat. Let's start with the Brian's Beat quote of the day. The quote of the day brought to you by Monthly Fee RX. You have allergies, diabetes, high blood pressure, plus take prescription drugs for your heart. With this service, you could get all of your meds and have them delivered for one small monthly price. MonthlyFeeRx.com. And our quote of the day comes from Patrick Henry. Perfect freedom is as necessary to the health and vigor of commerce as it is to the health and vigor of citizenship. Perfect freedom is as necessary to the health and vigor of commerce as it is to the health and vigor of citizenship. I have brought this up a couple of times. I'm going to bring it up again, actually, with a little help from ABC News, because they reminded me of Elon Musk, and I had it written down here, but I just didn't bring it up before. So what was your thought process when you heard that Elon Musk gave $1 million for people to register to vote in a particular way? Now, what ran through my head is, darn, how come he didn't approach me? I know I'm already registered, but, for $1 million, one might easily lie for $1 million. But the larger part of the story is, here we have Elon Musk giving out $1 million checks for people to register to vote. Obviously he is supporting Donald Trump. And if Donald Trump wins, Mr. Musk is going to get himself some kind of cush job within the administration. This is the same person. Elon Musk, I like many of the things that Elon Musk has done as a business person, as a scientist. But this whole thing about giving $1 million checks out, I mean, that to me, that is way over the top. But more importantly, we're talking about a person who gets billions of dollars in contracts through our government for his Starlink and other projects that he's doing that way. Now imagine if he has some type of oversight over government branch. There is just some, the stink that they're complaining about off of South Rodney French. This is up there with that stench. There's just something that's rotten about giving, and it doesn't have to be $1 million. It could have been $1,000. It could have been $100. And what happens to Elon Musk if it is against the law? A slap in the wrist? Do you think they're going to throw him in jail? So you've got that. Then you've got this other story, Jeff Bezos, who I think in 2013, it may have been 2014, but I'm pretty sure it was 2013. He went out and he took some of his billions and he went out and bought the Washington Post. Not too many people can go out and buy the Washington Post. He went out and bought the Washington Post. Pretty much he is hands off when it comes to the Washington Post. He lets the publisher run the newspaper. Well, time and time again over the years, before and after Bezos took over, the Washington Post has endorsed a presidential candidate. In 16, they endorsed Hillary Clinton. In 20, they endorsed Joe Biden. And in 2024, they're getting ready to endorse Kamala Harris. If you want to say, well, wait a minute, they're only doing Democrats? I think there was a stretch. I think 1988 was the time that they did not endorse, at the caucus, that particular year. But there have been other years prior when they did endorse Republicans. Be that as it may, Jeff Bezos stopped the editorial board from putting out the editorial that endorses Kamala Harris. Now, I don't care. I didn't vote for Kamala Harris. But there's something, going back to that reek in the air down in the south end of New Bedford. There is something that just leaves a bad taste, knowing that Jeff Bezos is doing, it would be one thing if he was commanding the paper on a day in and day out basis. He doesn't do that. And all of a sudden, here he is trying to step in front of this steam engine that is the editorial board and who they are going to support. I'm not even a big reader of the Washington Post, but I am seeing how news organizations can easily be corrupted. What's your thought? 508-996-0500. I appreciate your call. Hello.
Hi, Brian. I do have a main topic, but I just want to spend a couple of seconds correcting myself. I told you last week that Jacksonville had a bye week in week 5, and that's not true. They didn't. They played the Colts. But that's not why I called. I'll be so glad when this election is over. I can't stand negative advertisement. I mean, when one candidate, and I'm not going to mention the names of either candidate when I make my remarks, when one candidate gets on the air and says, I went to McDonald's 1 hour more than the other party did, that does not make me happy as a voter. We need to be more mature about these things, Brian. Let's say, for example, that you and I ran for president, or you and I ran for any office. It doesn't matter what the office is. And we invest money in campaign advertising. And I get up there, and all I say is, Brian Thomas did this, Brian Thomas did that, Brian Thomas did this. Vote for me. I didn't tell you anything about me. All I did was bash Brian Thomas. Anybody can bash anybody. That doesn't automatically make the people doing the bashing good presidential candidates. I want the candidates to talk to me about what they're going to do exclusively. I don't want to hear, I went to McDonald's more than she did, or, oh, this one did this and that one did that, so vote for me.
So I hear it in your voice, and I know exactly from where you come from when it comes to that. Here's the most important part that I take away from that, and that is you're only hearing from the two main candidates. If you are able to hear what the other, in our state, other 4 candidates are saying, you're not hearing so much of that negativity. You are hearing some of the issues that they seem to be bringing up, but they get drowned out.
But yeah, here's the problem with the other 4 candidates. They're not as popular. They're not going to get the voting strength that the 2 main candidates are going to get.
How do you think they're going to get that if people don't start paying attention to them?
Well, a lot of people would say it's about advertising money. They need to raise a lot of money to make themselves heard better.
Yeah, I think RFK Jr. thought that would be the good angle. It didn't pan out for him.
Well, I think any third candidate, whether it's RFK Jr. or Perot or Anderson, just to name a few, are always going to be third fiddle in these races for whatever reason.
Yeah, you'll pardon me for saying this like this. With that type of attitude, you're absolutely correct. But there is going to have to be some way of breaking that ice. I'm not exactly sure how it's done, but it has to happen. Otherwise, then what seems to be a two-party race is just a uniparty, and you're going to get more of what happened at McDonald's or more tit for tat.
It's silly, but I'm going to hit closer to home, Brian. I remember when you had on your program Chase Oliver. I listened carefully to that interview. I really was impressed with the way Chase Oliver presented himself. That's what I want from a candidate, no matter who it is. I want that kind of attitude to be presented. He was fabulous. That doesn't mean I'm going to vote for him. It doesn't mean I'm not. I'm just saying that I was very impressed with his demeanor and how he spoke to the people.
Well, thank you for that, and I'll let him know.
All right, Brian.
All right, thanks for your call.
Anytime.
508-996-0500 to get onto the program. Hello.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Brian is.
Very good to hear. I got 3 quotes that's going to lead me into my observation. You said he had a quote from Patrick Henry. I have another one from him. Patrick Henry, quote, "The liberties of a people never were, nor ever will be secure when the transactions of their rulers may be concealed from them." That's Patrick Henry. George Washington, an uninformed public is a populace in bondage. And most contemporary former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura, politics is more fake than wrestling.
That's a good one. I mean, all 3 were good, but I mean, that one right there.
Yeah, write that in your notebook.
Oh, my God. Thanks.
Yeah, and to get to my observation, this whole thing, get out to vote, it's being overblown. The Democrats, including Kamala Harris and the Democrats, they are trying to reach out to the low-info voter. That's, for whatever reasons, not up on the issues. And that's why Kamala Harris goes on to late-night shows like Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, and Stephen Colbert, to get out to them and, try to convince them with all kinds of lies. You know what I found really funny was Kamala Harris had a town hall interview with Anderson Cooper, and she didn't answer the question. She was dancing around, and David Axelrod, the former campaign manager for Barack Obama, says she lives in word salad city. She doesn't answer the questions directly. Now, these are people who are Democrats.
Look, I hear that, and I every once in a while I see it. Her campaign does not please me at all. I don't try to watch any more than I really need to talk to you about it. At the same time, Donald Trump is doing the same thing in a different manner. Right. So
the whole thing about
it's become a joke. Too. It's become an absolute joke. This might as well be Comedy Central.
Well, it is, and it's unfortunately our country's on the line. But Howie Carr says that Donald Trump's a genius because he put on an apron and he worked in the McDonald's and giving people their drive-through orders. It is a joke. It's ridiculous, and also Kamala Harris, like I said, tries to swallow the low-info voter, with all kinds of false pledges, empty promises, and that she's going to give all kinds of federal program freebies, and this is the same baloney. It's the same baloney all the time.
Same baloney all the time. Well, yeah. I can tell you this much. I don't eat baloney. Thanks for your call.
Well, all right, Brian.
I appreciate it. Hello.
Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Brian.
This is Sketty. You asked me to call you in.
Yes.
Call in to you. Yeah. So I registered to vote, and I wanted to let you know I got to vote right away.
Good. I figured as much, but I wanted to hear it.
Yeah. It was interesting. I don't know. I won't use any names because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. I said to her, "Oh, can I go across the street and vote right now?" And she goes, "Well, you're not going to be on the computer." And then she took the back of my paper and wrote, "Let her vote now." She said, "Hand this to such and such."
Wow. And what kind of paper was that?
Oh, no. It was literally on my registration.
Okay.
The back of it, the yellow side that you keep. And, so she wrote on the back of that to go ahead, let her vote. Now, she said, "Hand this to such and such," and the name was there, and then her name was on it. And I thought, wow, I felt privileged. But at the same time, so the gentleman, when I walked in, there was a man and a woman on that first table, and I handed him my thing, my registration, and then he goes, he starts typing it. He goes, "Well, what I'll do is I'm going to mail you," and I'm like, no mailing. And they turned it around, and they said, "Look, such and such said for such and such," and he goes, "Oh." And he goes, "Okay, fine." So he started typing me in that little black typewriter looking type of thing.
I don't know. You're way above my pay grade. I'm listening.
Okay. So when you walk in, there's like I think 3 tables, 2 tables for sure. The first one is
first of all, where is this?
The library
In downtown New Bedford.
Yep, and
Okay.
I registered at the city hall. So all you do is come out of the city hall, go down the steps, cross the street, and then go into the library. And where there's voting, when you first walk in to the right side, there's a table with a gentleman and a woman, and then the next table has 2 women. And so the whole thing, the process starts as soon as you walk in. And he has this. It's like a typewriter, but it's not. So he was typing all of my information in, and he did not use my middle initial. And I was looking at that particular thing that he handed me, and I said, "Wait, you didn't put my middle initial." And I know somebody had called in to the day that you filled in for Barry. Somebody had called in, I think, in the first hour, and said, "Oh, I had to redo everything because they didn't." Because she didn't.
Right. Right. I remember that. Yes.
Yes. So I'm very observant of that. And I said, "Hey, you didn't do that." He goes, "Oh, don't worry about it, blah, blah, blah." But I was worrying about it. So then the next table, you get the ballot where you're going to vote your questions. And so as I'm filling it out, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to definitely make a point of asking, is this going to be valid or not without the middle initial? And so the girls at that table said, "Yeah, well, you need to sign it exactly as what's on your license." And so I did. So anyway, there you go. Yep, I did it. I'm so happy. And
so the bottom line to all of this, you can vote on the same day that you register, but it can be a little sticky because the computer hasn't had a chance to actually regurgitate your name down so everybody can see it.
Right, exactly. And like I say, what she wrote on the back saying, "Let her vote now," I don't know. Like I say, did that make me privileged to go and do it? Or was I don't know. Brian.
Gotcha. And maybe in a larger city like New Bedford or Fall River, that might be a privilege. My guess is in the smaller towns, the Westports, the Fairhavens, the Mattapoisets, Marions, Acushnet, where they don't have anywhere near as many people, somebody might know who you are.
True.
All right.
True.
Many thanks. I appreciate it. I do appreciate that.
Well, you're very welcome.
Have fun.
Okay.
508-996-0500 to get on to the program today. Need to take a quick one. I see you there. I'll get to you on the rebound. Here we go. 508-996-0500. Thank you. Hello.
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 I think this is the most fascinating political for president subjects trying to run. I feel sorry for Kamala because she's going to be like the first woman in charge, but yet she's trying to make a quote like turn the page. But every time she turns the page, you see Bill Clinton, Obama, Hillary, Bruce Springsteen. You're seeing the past.
Yeah.
And then when she answers a question, she's intimidated by like the likes of Cooper, who says he challenges her, and she doesn't know how to back it up and stand her ground. And then she'll say, well, they call it word salads, but I think they should say, what do you mean? Because she said that to, I forgot, I think it was Bear. She said, you know what I mean. And he went, no, I don't.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating.
I'm not fascinated by to me, issues that I think should come to the forefront are not coming up. For instance, the BRICS conference took place in Russia from Tuesday to Thursday. I don't hear any of the candidates talking about that. And quite frankly, what the BRICS nations, and there are, I'm doing my math right now, so there are about 23 nations, but they encompass more than 40% of the world population. They have figured out a different way to transact where they don't have to involve United States currency. And I think that's going to be huge because we're a country right now, trillions of dollars in debt. If we don't start getting some of that other money that would come in and people have to pay for it to be converted into whatever so it goes on to another nation, that's just going to put us more into the dumper. And BRICS is just this is really serious. It's not that I think that these countries want to take over the United States. They don't want to be taken over anymore by the United States. And they have solid footing. And now they as they grow, they're getting solid backing.
They want the United States to be in a weak spot, and they know they got us on the ropes, and anything can happen. And these two candidates keep doing just the fluff, and Beyonce comes out and says she's a mother, she's concerned, and yet they're pushing abortion. It's like, do you want to be a mother or not? I'm so confused.
Yeah. Well, here's the other side of that. Again, I don't know Beyonce's children from Adam or Ava, for that matter. But she might be saying that because she has daughters. And she wants her daughters to be able to have choice.
But Kamala keeps saying that Trump said he's going to eliminate from all states, he's going to eliminate abortion. He's going to let the states choose, but she doesn't say that. She just says he's going to eradicate all abortions. It's like, why does she get allowed to say lies in her speech and no one calls her on it?
Oh, I think people are calling her on it.
They allow her to do this for all her major speeches.
Well, but they, you know what? And Trump does the same thing. I can't. You're a classic example. You're saying, why do they allow her to do it? But the fact of the matter is, you're calling her on it.
Well, I watch both sides, and I'm saying there's this conflict that doesn't get corrected.
By whom?
By the people interviewing her. And when they do, they say, they go on, they're getting harassed, both of them. When they try to fight, the media says, no, that's not true. But sometimes it actually
on the
is
fact
true.
check?
Yes, in the fact check, sometimes it's later.
Well,
like
yeah,
2 days later, a month later.
you're not going to get the fact check before the comment comes out.
No, but when right there they challenge it and they go, no, it's not true, but it actually is sometimes. They call them on it, and it's like it's so confusing. I can't wait for election to be done, but it's not going to be done on election day. It's going to continue.
Yeah, at least my guess is at least till my next show. So here it is, the Saturday before. Then you're going to have the Saturday after. We'll probably be talking about it too. Oh, you think it's going to be even longer?
There's going to be so many court challenges, all kinds of things. It's going to be so confusing. But we shall see what happens.
Well, you know what? Here's what I'm going to say to you. Go to the store and get yourself a whole bunch of popcorn.
Yes. Yes, good idea.
All right. Thank you for the call. 508-9960-500. Yeah, that's one of my predictions. We're certainly not going to know the Wednesday after. We might not know when I come back to do the show on, what day would that be? Saturday the 9th? We might not even know on that date. We might. Oh, I'm going to bring it back home. Election type talk, but I'm going to bring it back home. There's a program that's called On the Record. It's one of those Sunday talking head shows on Channel 5 out of Boston. They pre-record the programs. And one of the guests on the Record is Senator Ed Markey. And apparently, Senator Markey was asked if he plans on running for re-election in 2026.
I'm ready for the fight. I've never been more energized, and I'm ready to stand for re-election, and that is my full intention.
That's his full intention. Now, again, I'm not here striking a bone at age discrimination. I'm striking more of a bone at here's a guy I wouldn't vote for anyway. But he is 78 years old right now. He has already served 37 years, something like that, in the House of Representatives. He was elected to the Senate in 2013, special election. Then again, I guess it was in 18, 16, something like that. So here we are. No, 20 it would have been. So what should we think here? I don't know about you. And, my opinion is going to be jilted here because I wouldn't vote for Senator Markey. I have never voted for Markey, whether he was a congressman or a senator. And I don't intend on changing my mind. One of the things that he says that he's going to fight for as he stays on in the U.S. Senate is gun control. Climate change. Those are the two biggies that stuck out of my mind. And what else can you say? What else, is that what you want? You see what's going on down in New Bedford Harbor. You know what's going on out in the ocean by Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. You see the gunfights we're having here in the Commonwealth. And my guess is, simply a guess, unless there's somebody like a Charlie Baker, there's nobody strong enough to run against Senator Markey. So, in essence, let's see, 78 now, he would be 80 years old. and then up to age 86. Again, I don't want to get into this age discrimination thing. But we're talking about a guy who's going to end up spending more than almost 50 years in politics, representing the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Is that what we want here? I'm asking you, is that what we want? I know it's not what I want, but I don't know, I don't know where this is really going to go. I mean, I can sit here and folks are going to say, oh, it's age discrimination. How could you possibly be against Markey? He's fighting for all the things that we want here in the Commonwealth. I don't know. He's not fighting for many of the things that I want. And my guess is whether he is age 78 or age 48, he would be fighting for these things and I would still be against him. He's got the vim, he's got the vigor. He's going to keep on going for it. And then we've got Elon Musk giving, where is our nation's politics going? When Elon Musk can give out $1 million checks for people to register to vote and vote a particular way. I'm not sure if that is illegal, but it's got to be pretty darn close to it. And if it's not illegal, it should be unethical. Jeff Bezos, using his clout not as publisher of the Washington Post, but as the owner, the chief stockholder of the Washington Post, to stop the editorial board from endorsing Kamala Harris for president over Donald Trump. Now, I'm not surprised that the Post is going in that direction. They typically do side with the Democrats. And I'm kind of torn here because Bezos is the owner. The buck kind of stops here type of guy. So by right, he can do what he's doing. He can stifle freedom of speech. He can stifle his editorial board. And in this particular case, I don't side with what the editorial board wants to do. But what if, and I say it like this, what if, and I want you to think as Trump supporters, many people listening are Trump supporters. What if Jeff Bezos had decided to clamp down on the editorial board so they could not endorse Donald Trump for president? Now, you probably wouldn't care one iota if they came out and said that they wouldn't endorse Jill Stein, Cornel West, Chase Oliver. But to me, it's the mere fact that, if Bezos was operating as publisher of his newspaper instead of taking a backseat and, siphing off the profits like he ought to do it as an owner, that's where I have that sneaking problem. That's where the person with the board is hitting me in the back of the head and saying, what do you think of this? I don't like it. I don't like it any more than Elon Musk giving out $1 million. I can't help but think that if Elon Musk had offered me $1 million to register and vote in a particular way, I might have taken the money. It's not that I want to throw in my ethics. But $1 million is a lot of money. Now, imagine Joe and Jane's six-pack having a hard time making ends meet, trying to pay for their son or daughter to finish college, maybe take care of the college loans, maybe trying to take care of their mortgage. $1 million is a lot of money when it comes from the richest person in the United States. I'm not sure if he's the richest person in the world or not, but certainly the richest person on record in the United States. $1 million. Would you take the money? Would you take the money? I bet you're scared to say that you would take the money. And since most of the people listening are Trump fans, you probably don't care so much that he gave it to people that are supporting Trump. Now, what would you feel if Elon Musk was on the other side of the page, on the Democratic side of the page, and he was giving out $1 million for you to register and support Kamala Harris? You would be pooping Twinkies, and you know it. Big time. So I think that we've got compromised elections from the uniparty. So in other words, big business at the top, and then it filters down. You've got the Republicans on one side, you've got the Democrats on the other side, and their minions. My guess is if you are outside looking in, that could be outside in Brazil, outside in Azerbaijan, outside in Malaysia, outside in even China. How about this, China? How about this, Russia? You're in these nations, and you're reading in whatever language paper that this is happening in the United States election. What are you thinking? You are thinking that things are compromised here in the United States, then they roll back to what happened in 2020, and then they roll back, you got January 6, 2021, then you roll back to 16, then even a snapshot of what happened in 2000. This is what we are projecting to the world at large. And folks are going to say, well, we got to get Donald Trump back in there because folks around the world are laughing at us. And you don't think that they would be laughing because Elon Musk is giving $1 million and people know about it? We are a compromised country. This one is from Babylon B. Babylon B. Democrats explained Trump was going to be Hitler during his first term, but he forgot. Democrats have warned that if elected a second time, Donald Trump will be an evil dictator just like Adolf Hitler. So, Vice President Harris, in a press conference at the White House, this is what she said. Trump meant to be Hitler, but he forgot. I wish I was making this up. Trump meant to be Hitler, but he forgot. This is what the vice president, who is a presidential candidate, said about the person that is her chief opponent. Being Hitler just totally slipped his mind, Make no mistake, if Trump is elected again, he absolutely plans to turn into Hitler and probably will write himself a reminder this time. Wow. Whew. You know, this goes back to what a couple of callers stated earlier about, candidates not really running on what they will do, but somehow mocking the other candidate. Now, I have no great love for Donald Trump, but never have I thought that all of a sudden he's going to become an Adolf. Maybe I'm wrong. Hello.
So the Elon Musk PAC website, if you go to it, have you gone to it?
I have browsed it.
Does it say by signing here, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump?
No.
What does it say?
I don't have it in front of me to actually read it to you.
It says I'm going to support the First and Second Amendment.
Okay, but we know who Elon Musk stands for.
Sure, you can make inferences, but that's what I'm saying. We said a couple of minutes ago people were pledging to vote for Donald Trump for $1 million.
Yes, I did, and I stand by it.
Regardless of what the website says.
So were the people right there looking at the website when they were getting the check?
Do you support the First and Second Amendment?
Say again?
Do you support the First and Second Amendment?
Absolutely.
Does your candidate, I know you're libertarian, does your Libertarian Party support First and Second Amendment?
If you don't know about the Libertarian Party, then that should stand on its own. Yes, we do.
So then you could sign that because you support the First and Second Amendment.
No, I'm already registered. I'm already registered. Here's the thing.
Registered. It doesn't say I'm a registered Republican. It just says by signing here, I'm going to support the First and Second Amendment.
But we know where Elon Musk is coming from. It's one thing
But your guy supports the First and Second Amendment too, right?
Yes, but he's not out looking for giving $1 million.
Donald Trump is not giving $1 million.
Nobody said Donald Trump was giving $1 million.
Yeah.
We said Elon Musk was. And I think
for you to support the First and Second Amendment.
Yeah, okay. If that's how you want to stand on it, that's fine.
That's what it says. That's what it says.
Yeah, that's what it says on the website. That's not what it says when he's handing the check.
What he says now, you go vote for Donald Trump?
Because we know he is looking to get into Donald Trump's cabinet. That is the assumption that one can draw.
Assumption, right. You know what assumption is, right?
Yeah. Look, you don't have man. Look, you don't have to if you don't want to.
It makes an A out of you and you.
It makes an A out of me and me. Oh, an assumption. I got it. I got you. All right. Look. By association, Elon Musk is getting people to register and vote for Donald Trump. I would hope that Kamala Harris is also sticking up for the First and Second Amendment. I kind of